This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, I'm going to have Shabbos Rabbi Sai. Wednesday night, I mentioned that we still have some another approach in the Gemara and Sukkah of the four Averos that precipitate a solar eclipse, and that's what I would like to share with you today. Now, usually our Friday share is on Tefillah. This week it's going to be on the eclipse. Our Friday learning is dedicated by our dear friend Rabbi Sal Rose of Los Angeles, his brother Tzvi ben Levi Yitzchak. Now, I've been accused by many people when I said on Wednesday night that this was the first time that I spoke about the eclipse, that actually we spoke about it in 2018 by the last eclipse, and I took out my notes. I have a lot of good information on it from last time. Baruch Hashem, Wednesday night was new material. But in my notes, look what I found. I found my Lunt solar system, sun safe, meets the 2015 transmission safety requirements of ISO for direct solar viewing. Now it does say over here that you have to check the front and the back of each lens for scratches, pinholes, or separation. And for your own safety, don't use the glasses when they're older than 12 months. So luckily, these are not older than 12 months. They're only older than 6 years. So I was able to use them. No, I'm just joking. I put them on, and if you put them on, you can't see. It's like you're in total chayshach. You can't see anything. Even if you put it directly in front of a light, they're very strong. So I went outside into my back porch just to look at the sun for a nanosecond. My eyes are still bothering me, and it was very cloudy this morning. And I have like muscle memory of I didn't remember the last eclipse, but when I looked at the sun, it was through the clouds, through this thing which is basically like a dark sheet. My eyes I still feel it. So that's the kayach of the sun. So I actually ordered new glasses. If anybody wants these, they're available. But I'm not sure they're it's a souvenir. Anyway, okay, there are a lot of instructions here. I want to share with you the Chasam Sofer's approach to understanding the meaning of the Gemara and Sukkah. The Gemara and Sukkah says, amazingly, that there are 4 sins that precipitate a solar eclipse. If an Av Bezdin passes away and he's not eulogized properly, if a woman who's engaged to be married is being violated and she cries out and no one listens to her, on Mishkav Zachar, on same-gender relations, and Vial Shnei Achin Shenishbach Daman Ke'achad, and 2 brothers whose blood is being spilled together. And what I would like to share with you today is the approach of the Chasam Sofer. And let me get it up here. Here we go. Here we go. Could you see it? Okay, this is the Wednesday Mar Mekoimos on the last sheet. This should be good. Okay, this comes from the Drashos of the Chasam Sofer, and the Chasam Sofer has an ingenious way of interpreting this Gemara. He quotes the Gemara as in Drashos Chelik Beis Daf Shinai Daled. The Gemara says, Al Daled Dvarim Chama Loika, and we just read the Gemara, V'hu Tamua. It's a wondrous Gemara, Aval Yuvan Bekitzer, can be understood concisely as follows. It says, Chasam Sofer, Ki hachama zoirachas oleinu, uminaheges kol ha'olam kulei al shtei bechinos. The sun shines on us and runs the world on 2 levels. Level number 1, Aleph, Liyoi shefea oleinu ma'ar chama ha'olyona ar Torah. The sun represents the supernal sun, the light of the Torah, the glory of Israel. We say, La Shemesh Sam Oihel Bahem. What does it mean, La Shemesh, in the sun, he puts his tent. Which tent? Ahaloi Shel Yaakov. That's why we say, Hashamayim misaprim kvoid kel umase yadav Maggid Harakiah yoim liyoim yabia oimer v'layla layla chavados. We talk about the sun and we juxtapose Tairas Hashem Tamima. What's the connection between Hashamayim misaprim kvoid kel and taras Hashem tamima? The answer is through the light of Torah. The Torah illuminates through the sun. That's why we first say Yoitzer Or. You want to know where the light of the sun comes from? Ahava Rabbah, because they're connected. Says Chasam Sofer, like I explained in many places and elsewhere, regarding the windows of the Rakiah, which are 182 on each side, Gematria Yaakov. But then, friends, the sun shines and gives light to the moon. And now you ever wonder, if the sun is the Torah, then why are the Jewish people connected to the moon? It's because the sun shines on the moon, and we, the moon, are really mashbiah on the sun. In other words, the Jewish people are the moon. We give the light of Torah to the sun, and the sun shines back on us. This is analogous to Yisachar and Zevulun. Zevulun thinks it's being successful working in its own merit. No, because Zevulun gives from its money to Yisachar, therefore it's Yisachar being mashpia on Zevulun and not vice versa. People think, that person who I support, they're really dependent on me. No, it's vice versa. Because you support Torah, the Torah is supporting you. And then you give it back. But it comes from it starts with Yisachar. In the merit of Yisachar, Zevulun is successful, and then Zevulun gives back to Yisachar. In the merit of the moon, the sun has light, and then the sun gives back to the moon. Says the Chasam Sofer, that was the kavana of creation. Yaakov and Esav. In the merit of Yaakov, Esav would have Parnasa, and Esav would give it back to Yaakov. But says the Chasam Sofer, this doesn't always work. If the moon is not learning Torah, if Klal Yisrael is not learning Torah, then the moon is not influencing the sun will still shine. But it won't shine the light of the Torah. Because when we go into Galus, it will be Sareha L'Roish, Oyaveha Shalu, Malka V'Sareha Bagoyim Ein Torah. But then the sun will shine, but it will only shine physical light. And even though just physical light is not necessarily good, that's why we daven, Uvarech Shenasenu Kashanim Hatoivois. We say, bless our years like the good years. We don't want the hashpah to come from the chitzonim, from a empty source. But at least sunlight is better than darkness. Like it says, V'limshal b'yoymu v'layla. Even when the world is in the level of Laila, the sun will still shine. Even without the Levana's Torah, there'll be natural sunlight. But there's one condition. In other words, the sun and the moon are like Yaakov and Esav. Esav is the sun, Yaakov is the moon. In the merit of Yaakov, the sun will have light of Torah. If Yaakov is not learning, the sun will just shine physical light. But at least you have to be as good as Esav. What does that mean, as good as Esav? What that means is, if we're not upholding the Amar HaTorah of Yaakov, of Olam Haba and Taras Hashem, so now the sun will not shine the light of Torah, but at least we have to be as good as Esav. What's Esav? We're involved in bettering society, in progressing the world, in planting, in plowing, in working, in advancing civilization. If we're not doing what Yaakov should do, at least we need to do what Esav does. But we can't be wasting time. Worse than Esav is sitting on your phone, checking out dumb things that people post on chats. Do me a favor, don't post stupid things on chats. Don't waste other people's time. It's bad enough you waste your own time. And don't spend time on it. Worse than Esav is people who waste time. And we live in a world era where there are more ways to waste time than ever before in history. You could now spend the next 5 hours looking at inane emojis that people send you. Don't send people brainless things. Please, take it out. Get off as many chats as you can. Don't look at them. And when people send it to you, don't go. No. You're encouraging bad behavior. You're encouraging the worst type of behavior, namely time wasting. Anyway, and do me a favor, you can make a clip out of that and post it on all those Mekaimais Hakadoshim. Anyway, says the Chasam Sofer, if you're not going to be Yaakov, at least you have to be the level of Esav. V'dalas ha'am me'anu shemayak b'kol Hashem lasik b'Torah. Says of Chasam Sofer, unfortunately, he says, the people refuse to listen to the voice of Hashem, to engage in Torah, to have a shiur every day. Says of Chasam Sofer, it makes me feel better. Nobody listens to me, says of Chasam Sofer. Now, what happens? Okay. The Chasam Sofer sort of gives us the progression over here. The first step is, we're not on the Madrega of Yaakov. Madrega of Yaakov is intense, full-time Torah study. But at the very least, we have to be koivei zmanim l'Torah. And if we're not koivei zmanim l'Torah, then all we're left with is the Madrega of Esav. The Madrega of Esav is lasik b'yeshuva shalaylam. At least to do business honestly, like a good Gentile at least. Says the Chasam Sofer, Amnam kimisukanim shabahem loynasa kiyim kimikukalim. We don't even do like good Gentiles. What do? Lischok bekaratin. People play card games, yoimam v'leilos, day and night. Mibli hevi taref lebesam. They're not even making a living. You say, what? Nobody plays card games? That's right, because they have the games on their phone. Friends, remove from your phone all your card games. Not only that, all your games on your phone, take them off. They're a waste of time. If you play games on your phone, says the Chasam Sofer, not only you're not Yaakov, you're not even Esav. You're not even Esav. He says the Chasam Sofer, to play games with cards, and then says the Chasam Sofer, it brings to Gezela and to Chamas, and it takes away Amunah. For this, the spiritual light of the sun won't shine, and the physical light of the sun won't shine. Says the Chasam Sofer, with this introduction, we can now understand the 4 sins that bring about a solar eclipse. Number 1, Av Bezdin Shames. And now, Av Bezdin that died, the Or HaTorah has been taken away. Especially, he was not eulogized properly. If he was eulogized properly, at least, if we're not learning, his light of Torah would shine on us. So the first step is, we don't appreciate Talmidei Chacham. Number 2, Ve'al Nara Hamurasa Shetza'aka Be'ir Ve'ein Moshi'ala, says the Chasam Sofer, this is the Torah of the national Torah. The Torah that's Mu'urasa L'Kilas Yaakov. She's crying out in every house, please, I know you had a long day of work. Could you put away your phone, turn off your screens? You want to maybe open me up for 30 minutes, for an hour, spend some time learning? I understand you couldn't learn the whole day. You need to support your family. You're not on the Madrega of an Av Bezdin. But at the very least, you married the Torah. Every Jew did erusin to the Torah. And she cries out to you. The Nara Hamurasa, the Torah cries out to you. Open me. I know look, I have a lot of nice Sfarim on the shelf. And yeah, they look nicer if you don't learn it. But the Torah says, I don't want to look nice. Please open me up. Open me. Learn me. Otherwise, it's like a woman being abused. It's like an abused woman. The next step, Mishkav Zachar. Says the Chasam Sofer, students of Torah are called male. unlearned people are called nekeva. Then, when the Amei Haaretz support Talmidei Chachamim, so then it's a good relationship. It's a relationship of Zachar u'Nekeva. However, what happens if the Amei Haaretz, what happens if people don't want to support Talmidei Chachamim? Then somehow they have to figure it out themselves. That's Mishkav Zachar. That's when the relationship between those who support Torah and those who learn is severed. That is the state of Mishkav Zachar. So the Chasam Sofer is very similar to the way the Maral learned. If you remember Wednesday night, the Maral interpreted that in order for Torah to be powerful in this world, you need to love it with all your heart, which means all your mind. You need to value Talmidei Chachamim with all your nefesh, which is the Maral interpreted that the Avera of Nara Hamurasa Shetza'aka Be'ir. Nara Hamurasa is the Jewish people are wed to the Torah. Very similar to how the Chasam Sofer learned. Remember, the Chasam Sofer, the Maral learned that Nara Hamurasa is referring to the Jews who can't afford to learn, and the Ashirim need to support them, those who are Oros to the Torah. Mishkav Zachar, the Maral learned, is if somebody is too preoccupied with his occupation. The Chasam Sofer learns that Mishkav Zachar is when the Talmidei Chachamim have to figure it out on their own. It comes out that these three Averos, the Amud, the pillar of Torah, has been removed, and now all the sun could shine is on the Bechina of Esav. Because if you don't have Talmidei Chachamim, and you don't have support, and they have to figure it out themselves, so now the sun won't shine like Yaakov, it will now shine like Esav. But what happens when, just like when you make Torah keva, when you make Torah your primary occupation, and you make Malacha your secondary occupation, it's like you're killing Esav. When you make your occupation your Iker, you're removing Yaakov. Okay, but at least you have Esav. But somebody who doesn't learn, and he wastes his day, he's not Yaakov, he's not Esav, you killed both brothers. Says the Chasam Sofer, this is what it means, somebody who killed both brothers. So in a nutshell, Chasam Sofer learns the first three Averos are what undermines the pillar of Yaakov. You don't honor Talmidei Chachamim, Nara Hamurasa, you don't support those who are learning. And number three, now they have to figure it out on their own, so that undermines Yaakov. And number four, you waste your time, so you're not even on the Bechina of Esav. That is what causes the light of the sun not only not to shine on a spiritual level, but not to shine on a physical level as well. This is the interpretation of the Chasam Sofer. So, according to Chasam Sofer and the Maral, the solar eclipse is a fundamental message to the Jewish people to strengthen themselves in their connection to Limud Torah and supporting Torah. Because if they want the light of Torah to be bright and to shine in this world, it is imperative that we love it with all of our mind, with all of our energy, and with all of our money. And in that zechus, we should all be zoicha to see b'karev mamish ar chadash al tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh chulanu b'mheir aliyayrai. Okay, have a great Shabbos, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bracha v'atzlacha. Do you want to know if is there a connection between earthquakes and eclipses? Stay tuned. Hopefully Sunday. If you look in the Shulchan Aruch seems to mention earthquakes as something you make a bracha on, although I was not very prepared for it. But eclipses might be a shaila. Okay, Rabbi Glatstein, have a great Shabbos. Kol tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.